Emotions run high in courtrooms at times. The killer, the Buffalo mass shooter, was at a hearing. People were able to speak. Here's what happened.
You gonna come to our city and decide you don't like black people. Man, you don't know a damn thing about black people. We're human. We like our kids to go to good schools. We love our kids. We never go in no neighborhoods and take people out. Don't do
Put up the picture of the killer full mask. Let me give you some background as to what you just saw. It was emotional, yes. It was during the sentencing hearing yesterday. A man rushed a white supremacist who was responsible for the Buffalo, New York mass shooting. 19-year-old Payton Gendron was sentenced to life in prison without parole for murdering 10 black victims at the Tops Friendly Market in Buffalo, New York, May 14, 2022. He'll be back in a federal courtroom today, where he is facing 27 felonies, including hate crime charges. Prior to the outburst, Gendron struck a deal to avoid a possible death penalty for the massacre. Some of the family members left behind were overwhelmed with emotion. Let's put up a picture of his victims. He murdered, top from left to right, 65-year-old Celestine Cheney, 32-year-old Roberta A. Drury, 53-year-old Andre McNeil, 72-year-old Catherine Massey, 53-year-old Margus D. Morrison. Bottom from left to right, 67-year-old Hayward Patterson, 55-year-old Aaron Salter, 62-year-old Geraldine Talley, 86-year-old Ruth Whitfield, and 77-year-old Pearl Young. Gendron had planned the shooting for several months. He shot 13 black victims with a semi-automatic rifle. Only 3 survived. The courtroom incident happened after Catherine Massey's sister, Barbara, was giving her victim impact statement where she wanted to choke Gendron as the man who charged Gendron stood behind her. Just as Barbara finished her statement, the man pushed her aside to get to the killer. Several cops did in fact restrain him. Social media users commented on how he was rushed, talking about the killer was rushed out of the courtroom like he was a victim as officers restrained the man. A man on Twitter responded to the viral video and identified himself as Barbara's nephew. He also said the irate man was his cousin, okay? And that is the Post. Let's go to the judge, Susan Egan. Judge Susan Egan spoke on urgency to end the generational violence of white supremacy and even quoted poet Amanda Gorman during the sentencing hearing. When Judge Egan delivered her sentence down, she told the killer, "There is no place for you or your ignorance, hateful and evil ideologies. There can be no mercy for you. You would never see the light of day as a free man ever again," the judge says. Additionally, during the hearing, the killer apologized for his crimes. He said, and I quote, "I did a terrible thing that day. I shot and killed people because they were black," he said. But family members were unmoved. "It was written for him. It didn't seem sincere. It was too short," said Deja Brown, the daughter of one of the victims. Even after the sentencing was over, some family members felt zero closure. All right, I concur with the family that the lawyers probably wrote that very short statement. Sometimes lawyers do that when the individual refuses. to write something. That's all. Listen, you're gonna make me look bad. Now just read this, okay? Just say this and nothing else. Did not seem heartfelt. Did not seem as if it was authentically from him. But really, who gives a damn? At the end of the day, who cares what he has to say? I am glad the judge actually addressed generational white supremacy and generational racist violence, because typically you will see a generational connection between white supremacy and white supremacist. And the judge actually spoke to it directly. All right, Ben, thoughts here?
I mean, it's just such a tragedy. I'm so at least heartened to see punishment and justice reaching this horrible, evil person. And when the federal trial is conducted, he could still receive the death penalty even for that. But it just strikes me how quickly and aggressively every security officer and bailiff in that court grabs the man that tries to punch this vile murderer and subdued it so quickly and rushed this murderer out of the courtroom to protect his innocent little face. And this man, when he killed people, was escorted safely yet again to be able to face trial. And that's the good parts of our country, protecting people even if they are accused of crimes. But you gotta wonder, why couldn't they just be a little slower? Why couldn't they just be a little, they have to aggressive, what would be the word? The guy gets punched in the face. Like, I understand we're a country that stands against cruel and unusual punishment, and we should. But sometimes you don't need to jump and stop a man from punching this man and giving him the catharsis he needs. He took lives, didn't have any issue with that. It's not gonna be the end of the world if you're a little slower getting to this monster. It's just very painful. Thankfully, at least, there's no charges being brought against that man that rushed this monster. I just hope that we see more justice, and I hope that we don't forget that these are the shootings that are taking and terrorizing the lives of our fellow citizens. I've been watching the news covering this, and they say the shooter of a shooting at a supermarket in Buffalo, already like seeming like it's just one of a million and one that we don't even remember. We do remember it. It was just last year.
That's right.
And it was just a week or so before the school shooting in Texas. Let's not have these be statistics. Let's not have these be things that fade from our memory. Let's have these things be part of our collective pain and trauma. So maybe it leads to some changes that can actually reduce these horrible hate incidents in the future, and we can work towards that more perfect union at some point.
There you go.